Well, welcome back again. Last time we talked about building this tabletop and rolling work cart for this WEN drill press. This time I want to talk a little bit more about the specifics of this drill press and why I like it. So take a little closer look at this. Up here on the top of where the gear train is, they actually give you a nice little chart to kind of give you an idea what your speeds and feeds should be. I guess it would be just speeds. That's the machine shop in me talking. Which is kind of handy because a lot of people don't understand that you really do need to run things a lot slower than you think sometimes. It's easy to burn things up. So that's on there, which is kind of nice. Down here we have, this is your variable speed lever. And I really like that this is a variable speed drill press. I'm not a big fan of the ones that you change the belts on. I guess they have their purpose. I don't know if the power transfer is better. It's hard to say, but I really like this one. I haven't noticed any bogging down or anything like that as long as you're using it correctly. And then your stop here, this has a full 3 inches of travel, which is really nice. A lot of them I think are only 2 inches. So, and then you can set your stops on here, which is pretty nice. Moving on down, you have your 5/8 inch drill chuck, and this is one of the better chucks out there for a lower end drill press, I think. The ones like I've seen in Harbor Freight, like this part's loose on the body. This one's nice and tight. In fact, let me see if I can do this with one hand here without messing up my bit. This seems to be fairly tight. I did run an indicator on this. Unfortunately, I don't have a video of that. I was showing about 5 thousandths total, but I think it was more in the spindle versus the chuck. But at any rate, I thought that was pretty decent, you know, until you get into like a higher end chuck. I've never had an issue with any wobble or anything like that. I think it's nice and tight. And I'm somebody who uses machine shop equipment regularly, like decent quality stuff. And for home use, I have no issues with this chuck setup. Moving around to the back here, I like that the table height is locked down with this lever and not a tool. I think that's great. I like the angle gradients on here. See if I can make sure that's focused. The angle gradients are nice and fine, and they seem to be fairly accurate on my machine, even though it's just a sticker. It's a nice feature. On the table here, it has this nice material support you can pull out. And I think it's about 6 inches or so with a roller on it. I think that's a nice feature. And then you look underneath, and there's another lever here, no tool, and then you can spin the table, which is also a nice feature. I really hate having to use tools. The only place you do have to use a tool, a little technical difficulty there, but that's the nut you'd have to move or have to loosen to tilt the table left and right up underneath. That's the only place you have to use a tool, and I guess it would be pretty hard to get a lever in there, so I'll give him a pass on that one. Heading around to the right side here, there's the detail on the nameplate. It's model number 4214, and it's a 5 amp motor, and the advertised speeds are 580 to 3200 RPM for the variable speed. The one place that I see that's a little these handles tend to loosen up over time. I snug them up. I really hesitate to like put Loctite on them because that's when I'll probably snap a handle off and it'll be really impossible to get the nub out. So I just tighten it up every once in a while. It's okay. It does have the little key holder here, which when I first got this, I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to use that. But to be honest, I use it all the time, and I know where the key is. It works. It's dumb, but it works. You got a nice rack and pinion here to raise your height up and down, which cranks nice and easy. It's not a crummy crank like some machines I've used. One thing to note here is the column on this. I chopped 4 inches off the column height, and you just take the set screws out here and here. And the reason I did that was originally I had this drill press mounted to a flip top workbench, and in order to make it swing and fit at my bench height, I had to take some height out of it. So this machine's a little bit modified already. Looking back, I mean, yeah, I'd like to have that 3 inches back, but it is what it is. I don't think it hasn't really been much of an issue so far, but just keep that in mind. Mine's just a little bit shorter than your normal one. It is advertised as a 12-inch. I guess we got 6 inches from here, from the chuck to the column. So, also it's got, you know, like your typical on-off with the safety pull. Now, this particular press has a light and a laser alignment feature. So, right there's our laser, which is pretty nice. I have to say I actually use it quite a bit once you have it dialed in. It's a pretty nice feature. And then we got our work light, which is an LED work light. Right up there. And you can also see the lasers are mounted right in front of that light. So if you need to adjust where your laser's pointing, these two little brass deals are your laser emitter. You just rotate. There's a little set screw there you can loosen. Just rotate those brass screws and that changes where the lines are. So you can fully adjust that if need be. And like I said, I like that feature. It's pretty nice. Now, last time in the comments, I had a lot of people ask, what's this thing weigh? Is it chintzy? Is it lightweight? You know, and I responded with, it's pretty heavy. You know, it doesn't feel like a lightweight piece of equipment. So to back that up, I took it off the top here and I have it on my scale. And about 80.5 pounds. Now, like I said, I took that 3 inches out of the column, so maybe another ½ pound. So let's call it 81 pounds. And for those of you that don't believe in freedom units, it's 36.48 kilograms. So I think that's a pretty heavy unit for what it is. I have no complaints about the weight. Now let's just take a look and see what actual RPMs show up as from low to high. Hopefully you can read that. But all the way at the bottom, I've got an indicated 520, which it was advertised at 580. And all the way up at the top, right about 3230, 3240. And it was indicated on the plate at 3200, so we're right where it says it's supposed to be. And one other thing, now that I have one of these, I like to show. Right now, you know, just me talking is what, about 60 decibels. So let's turn this on and see what it reads. Right about 75 decibels. So it's not too loud. It's not like whisper quiet, but I wouldn't call that loud by any means either. My rigid shop vac's 95 decibels, and that's, you know, kind of hard to talk over. So just to give you a frame of reference, it's not too loud. So after owning this thing for so many years, usually I just had a piece of plywood sitting on the top on the table just to drill into and make a little wider landing spot. And I finally broke down and decided, you know what, I should just buy the legitimate table, because the ones that are built for it have the clamps that go underneath and everything, and you got a fence in the back. So I was like, you know what, it's 50 bucks, let's do it. So I bought the WEN, and there are some other options out there, like the folks that make my T-track on my workbench, they make their own version. But I didn't like their version because they had a nice aluminum backstop, but the way the backstop's mounted to the table, you lose a lot of your throat depth. And I feel like on these small tabletop drill presses, we don't want to lose any of that. You know, it's already small to begin with. So here's our, I believe this is the fence, and it's got a nice aluminum T-track mounted in it. Now it is particle board, but it feels like it's decent quality. And then here's the table itself. Again, it's got two more pieces of T-track mounted in it, along with an insert that comes out, so you don't drill into your table. And then, I believe this box is going to be the clamps. It's also nice, this tabletop material is like, it's smooth, it's like slippery, which, that's pretty nice. And then here's the clamps for underneath. They're plastic. They almost had me fooled. I thought they were some kind of casting at first, but yeah, I could mess around and try and bolt something to the one, you know, the one I already have. But you know what? This is pretty nice. So let's install this and see what it looks like. So there's actually T-tracks on both sides of this. I didn't realize that until I took it out of the box. So if your tabletop has the slots in it, all you got to do is put these nuts in and you can just clamp right down through the slots in your table. You don't even need these clamps. I guess you could repurpose these clamps into clamps to hold your work down, but anyway, that's a nice feature too. It works on tables with slots and without slots. So I have the 3 clamps on the bottom, and I'm just putting the backstop on here. Now they give you 2 clamps for clamping off of this rail or this rail, which is nice also. And then here's your insert. And then they also give you a work stop, which I believe goes like that. So there's our table setup. Pretty nice. Now with any table setup, the backstop's going to, take a little bit of your depth from the column away, but you can easily just loosen this up and take it off if you need that space and you don't need the backstop. But I'm pretty happy with this setup. I think it'll do me very well. And like I said, it increases the size of your tabletop nicely, especially for some of the stuff that I'm doing, mainly pinball ramps. I need all that space, all that stability. So it's pretty nice. I definitely recommend it. And I recommend the drill press. So we got to do a little demonstration at least. So this is an 1 3/8 Forstner bit, and if I go by the chart on the side, it says it should be about 750 RPMs. I don't know. I'm not a woodworker. Sounds about right. I usually use these in plastic anyway, so it might be a little bit dull, but we'll see what it does. So we're at 740 RPMs. Got a clamp down here on my new table. Didn't even flinch. So, and this is birch cabinet grade plywood. It's not good cabinet grade plywood, it's the crap they sell at the home stores. But nevertheless, it's not just a piece of pine. It didn't even flinch. So I think this thing has plenty of power for most people. As long as you're using it, for what it's intended. You're not going to be blasting 1/2-inch holes in solid blocks of steel. You know, that's just not what this is for. It's not a milling machine. I hate when I see people milling with drill presses. The chucks aren't made for it. The tapers aren't made for it. It's just not good. So use it as intended. I think this is a fine machine for most of your shops out there, you guys at home. I really can't complain about it at all. So that's it. Again, none of this was given to me. None of this was, no discounts, no nothing. Nobody contacted me from WEN. This is just me sharing my opinions and my experiences with everybody. And I like to be transparent with that kind of stuff. So anyway, until next time, that's going to wrap this one up. Let me know in the comments if you like this video or what you want to see me do next. If you like these videos, subscribe to my channel, and you'll get an alert right away. So I really appreciate all the likes I've gotten and all the subscribes on the original video for this drill press cabinet. It was really nice and unexpected. So I appreciate you guys, and hopefully we'll keep trucking along here with more interesting videos. Till next time, thanks again.